What is FAA Form 8100-2? It is a standard airworthiness certificate. What is the definition of airworthy and where can it be found? Airworthy means the aircraft conforms to its type design and is in a condition for safe operation. The definition is found in Title 14 CFR Part 3. What is the definition of time in service with respect to maintenance time records? Time in service means the time from the moment an aircraft leaves the surface of the earth until it touches down at the next point of landing. What are the record requirements after performing maintenance? Description of work performed or reference to data acceptable to the administrator. Date of completion of the work performed. Name of the person performing the work. Signature, certificate number, and kind of certificate. What are the record requirements after complying with a 100-hour inspection? Type of inspection and brief description, date and aircraft total time, signature, certificate number, and kind of certificate, and an I certify statement. What are the record requirements after compliance with an airworthiness directive? Method of compliance, AD number and revision date, aircraft total time, date and aircraft time, date when the next action is required if it is reoccurring, date, signature, certificate number of the person approving the work. Where should the description of a major repair or major alteration be recorded? In the correct logbook and on the FAA Form 337. What is the disposition of the two FAA Form 337s after they are completed? You must give one copy to the aircraft owner and one copy is sent to the FAA Flight Standards District Office in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. What regulation authorizes a certificated mechanic with an IA to approve or disapprove a major repair or alteration? Title 14 CFR Part 65.95. Who is required to make the entry in the aircraft records after a 100-hour inspection has been performed? The appropriately rated and certificated mechanic that performed the work. How long must the record of a 100-hour inspection be retained by the owner or operator? Until the work is repeated or superseded by other work, or for 1 year after the 100-hour inspection was performed. Where can a mechanic find the required data for a 100-hour inspection maintenance record entry? Title 14 CFR Part 43.11. What is the minimum scope and detail that a checklist must contain when performing a 100-hour inspection? The checklist must include at least the items covered in Title 14 CFR Part 43 Appendix D. Where is a 100-hour inspection recorded? In the maintenance record of the applicable equipment, such as the airframe, engine, or propeller logbook. When must an inspection entry contain the aircraft total time? When an inspection entry or AD entry is made. When an aircraft is sold, what is done with the aircraft records containing the status of airworthiness directives? All records containing the status of ADs must be transferred to the owner at the time of sale. What type of maintenance record entry is required when an inspection under 14 CFR Part 91.417 is made to a large airplane or turbine engine powered multi-engine airplane and defects are found? The entry must name the kind of inspection, and a signed and dated list of defects found must be given to the owner. Who may make a maintenance record entry for approval for return to service after a progressive inspection is performed? An airframe repair station, inspection authorization, or the manufacturer. What are the required entries in a new maintenance record for an engine that has been rebuilt and granted zero time by the manufacturer or by an agency approved by the manufacturer? A signed statement with the date of rebuild, each change made as required by AD, each change made in compliance with the manufacturer's service bulletin if specifically requested in the service bulletin. What is an AD summary? A list of all airworthiness directives that pertain to an aircraft. What are AD frequencies? An update. They are issued bi-weekly. Who is authorized to perform an annual inspection? An inspection authorization. Can a certified A&P mechanic supervise an unlicensed person to perform a 100-hour inspection? No. Only a certified A&P mechanic can perform a 100-hour inspection. What is meant by a progressive inspection? It is a type of inspection program that must be approved by the local Flight Standards District Office that allows an annual or 100-hour inspection to be segmented into various scheduled inspections. The purpose of a progressive inspection is to minimize the downtime an aircraft experiences during inspections. Who is authorized to rebuild and grant an aircraft zero time in the maintenance record? Only the manufacturer, or an authorized representative of the manufacturer. What is ATA 100 system? A numbering system that is designed to standardize technical data regardless of the manufacturer. How long do you keep temporary maintenance records? You must keep temporary maintenance records till they are repeated, superseded, or for 1 year. Who can sign off an annual inspection when the airplane is deployed? An airframe and power plant mechanic. What is the purpose of airworthiness directives? They are used to notify owners and mechanics of conditions that prevent a product or part from being in an airworthy condition. What FAA publication is used to notify aircraft owners of unsafe conditions? Airworthiness directives. When must airworthiness directives be complied with? All ADs must be complied with in accordance with the compliance requirements set forth in the AD. When is the summary of ADs published? Every other year. Are ADs automatically issued to certificated mechanics? No, they are issued to owners. Where can you find a list of approved engines for use in specific model aircraft? The type certificate data sheet. Where can the dimensional tolerances be located for a wrist pin installed in an aircraft engine? In the overhaul manual for that engine. Where can the empty weight of an airplane be located? In the aircraft's weight and balance logs. Where can you find airworthiness standards for normal category airplanes? Title 14 CFR 23. Where can you find airworthiness standards for transport category airplanes? Title 14 CFR 25. What federal regulation defines the requirements for the issue of type certificates? Title 14 CFR 21. Where would you look to find out if a specific airplane can be certified in more than one category? The type certificate data sheet. What publications issued by airframe, engine, and component manufacturers notifies aircraft owners of design defects? Service bulletins. What publication contains complete instructions for maintenance of all systems and components installed in an aircraft? The manufacturer's aircraft maintenance manual. What manual is prepared by the manufacturer for technicians who normally perform work on products, parts, and systems while installed in the aircraft? The aircraft maintenance manual. Who is responsible for ensuring that only the most current information is used when performing any maintenance on an aircraft? The person authorized to approve the maintenance. What are FAA advisory circulars? They are non-regulatory FAA publications that expand upon and explain existing rules and regulations. When are service bulletins considered mandatory? When they are referenced within an airworthiness directive. On older aircraft for which manuals are not available, what publication could be used to inspect and maintain the aircraft? The AC 4313. Are statements included in the Federal Aviation Regulations mandatory or optional to be complied with? They are mandatory. When would you have to complete 3 FAA Form 337s? When installing extended range fuel tanks in the baggage or passenger compartment. One is given to the owner, one is sent to the FAA within 48 hours after the aircraft is approved for return to service, and one is placed on board the aircraft. What is the purpose of a minimum equipment list? The MEL permits aircraft to be flown with inoperable, non-essential equipment long enough for repairs to be made. At what weight is an aircraft classified as large? Any aircraft more than 12,500 pounds maximum certificated takeoff weight. What is the normal disposition of the FAA Form 337 when there are no extended range fuel tanks? One copy is given to the aircraft owner or operator, and the other copy is sent to the FAA. What is a MSDS, or more commonly called an SDS? A material safety data sheet, or safety data sheet, is a document that contains information on the potential hazards and how to work safely with the chemical product. What is a FAA advisory circular? Advisory circulars are informational documents produced by the Federal Aviation Administration to inform and guide institutions and individuals within the aviation industry, as well as the general public. Advisory circulars are intended to be informative in nature and not regulatory. However, many times they describe actions or advice that the FAA expects to be implemented or followed. Which federal regulation prescribes the certificate requirements for a mechanic? Title 14 CFR Part 65. What is the minimum age for an A&P mechanic certificate? (18). What are the two ratings that can be issued to a mechanic certificate? Airframe and power plant. What are the limitations of a certified mechanic regarding aircraft instruments? A mechanic may not calibrate or make any repairs or alterations to aircraft instruments. What are the privileges and limitations of a certified mechanic regarding propellers? A power plant mechanic may make minor repairs and alterations, but may not make major repairs or major alterations to propellers. What type of work may a certificated mechanic accomplish on aircraft? They may perform or supervise maintenance, preventative maintenance, and alterations. When a mechanic has a permanent change of address, what must be done within 30 days after the change? They must notify the administrator of the FAA in writing or online at www.faa.gov. What is the duration of a certified mechanic? It is effective until surrendered, suspended, or revoked. How long is a temporary mechanic certificate in effect? For a period of 120 days. What is used as a guide to determine if a repair is a major or minor repair? Title 14 CFR Part 43 Appendix A. What are the requirements of recent experience for a mechanic? A certificated mechanic must supervise or perform maintenance for at least 6 months out of every 24 months. What may be used as a guide for a 100-hour inspection? Title 14 CFR Part 43 Appendix D. What are the privileges of a certified mechanic regarding performing 100-hour inspections and returning an aircraft to service? A certified A&P mechanic may perform a 100-hour inspection and return the aircraft to service by making the proper entries in the maintenance records. What are the privileges of a certified mechanic with respect to an annual inspection? A certificated A&P mechanic with an inspection authorization may perform an annual. Can an A&P supervise personnel without an A&P certificate in performing maintenance and/or 100-hour inspections? An A&P may not supervise a 100-hour inspection. Who has final responsibility for maintaining aircraft maintenance records? The owner or operator of the aircraft. May an airframe mechanic perform maintenance on engines? Yes, under the supervision of a power plant mechanic. What privileges are given to power plant mechanics in addition to the ability to perform maintenance? They may perform a 100-hour inspection on a propeller or engine. What maintenance can a pilot perform, and what are the limitations? They may approve an aircraft for return to service after performing preventative maintenance. How long must a mechanic wait before reapplying for their A&P certificate after losing their certification? One year. What should you do if your temporary certificate becomes older than 120 days? Contact your local Flight Standards District office. Who must approve for return to service radio equipment installations made in accordance with supplemental type certificates? Any inspection authorization. Where would you look to find symbols in the FAR? (14 CFR Part 1.2). What is ISPEC 2200? ATA Spec 100 and ISPEC 2200 are information standards for aviation maintenance and flight operations. Current ISPEC 2200 comprises a suite of data, specifications, and data modules for the digital representation and exchange of technical data. What is a supplemental type certificate? FAA approval to modify a product from its original design. What are the two types of airworthiness directives? AD and EAD.